Hello everyone, I hope you are doing well. This is Eckhart Slaughter with another rambling video, and it's been a while since I've done one of these, but I figured with the recent Han Solo news, it was probably a good time. And for those of you who are new to the channel or who haven't seen one of my rambling videos before, it's basically where I kind of just talk off the cuff about something that's important to me. I don't usually put too much editing in. I'll put some video game footage or something in the background. So if you're not interested in that, feel free to skip it. I'll probably put another video up either today or perhaps tomorrow. So what's this video about? I kind of mentioned generally what I was going to talk about, but I guess even more generally, the topic of today's video again is Star Wars in trouble? And this is something I've talked about in a few rambling videos before, but today specifically, I want to look at the recent Han Solo drama where the two directors were fired. And it comes out, well, it came out more recently that they were fired, but 2 days ago, we learned that the directors for the Han Solo movie, and that's directors Lord and Miller, would no longer be directing. Other than the day after, it came out that they were actually fired. And it came out that they were fired because they were clashing with Lawrence Kasdan and Kathleen Kennedy, both higher ups in Lucasfilm. I think we all know who Kathleen Kennedy is, and Kasdan you should know if you're a Star Wars fan. He wrote The Empire Strikes Back, or co-wrote The Empire Strikes Back, has been a big part of Star Wars throughout the ages, and he is co-writing or perhaps lead writing the Han Solo movie. We don't really know a whole lot officially about what happened. On StarWars.com, Lucasfilm posted a little message saying that the untitled Han Solo film will move forward with a directorial change, that Lord and Miller are talented filmmakers, blah, 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 but unfortunately our vision and process weren't aligned with our partners on the project. And then kind of added on to that, Variety posted some stuff that they got from a supposed source within Lucasfilm who said that Kathleen Kennedy and Kasdan were clashing with the two directors at basically every turn. And that even comes down to how they were running the set, how the production was being run, how the two directors were interacting with the actors, everything. And I guess this was a little surprising because, again, as the Variety article points out, Miller and Lord were supposed to be hired for their vision and distinctive brand of filmmaking. Like before this, some of the movies that they directed were the Lego Movie and 21 Jump Street, pretty much as un-Star Wars-y as you can get. So I'm kind of surprised that creative differences in how the set was run kind of led to the breakdown of this relationship to such a degree that the directors actually had to be fired. And I think some people will find this particularly concerning because there have been rumors, or some people have been worried about, Lucasfilm having a very heavy hand with how the production of Star Wars movies is treated. Infamously, Captain Phasma was supposedly introduced to the series, particularly because Kathleen Kennedy wanted her to be in the movie. But yet, on the other side, Rian Johnson said just a few months ago that he's had as much creative control on The Last Jedi as he's ever had on any movie. And he actually reiterated this yesterday after a kind of obnoxious fan tweeted at him on Twitter, saying, "You praised Disney for months about full creative control, and yet Miller and Lord are fired for having their own vision. Strange." First of all, again, super obnoxious of that person to say it like that. They've got no idea what's going on behind closed doors at Lucasfilm on the Han Solo movie, whatever. So it's kind of obnoxious and rude to suppose that you have information and that the situation is completely clear. Nonetheless, Ryan said, "I had as much creative control on The Last Jedi as I've ever had on any of my own movies." To me, that indicates that something was going on the set of the Han Solo movie that's kind of more serious than just how they interacted with the cast, or, you know, maybe they had some different ideas about how to film certain scenes. To me, the tone of the movie must have been completely wrong. As I mentioned, Lord and Miller are known more for the lighthearted, comedy-centered movies, and while Star Wars can certainly be lighthearted, and most Star Wars movies are relatively lighthearted, it's not 21 Jump Street and it's not the Lego Movie. So I guess the question of whether there is a too many cooks for one pot situation at Lucasfilm is not really answerable at this point with the amount of information we know. And what I mean by that, we can't really answer the question of, is Star Wars in trouble as a whole, because Lucasfilm and Kathleen Kennedy, Kasdan, whoever is writing whatever movie, I guess that's not really an issue for the main movies, because they typically are written with the director. I'm getting off track, but I guess the issue of whether Lucasfilm is interfering too much in whatever movies can't be answered right now, not until we know more. But the fact that Lucasfilm has, and Rian Johnson has confirmed, given other directors so much creative freedom in the past, kind of suggests that there was something very seriously wrong with how the directors were handling the Han Solo movie. And keep in mind that firing 2 directors midway through filming is not something to be taken lightly. This is certainly going to screw up production of the movie. It might need to be pushed back. I kind of hope it's pushed back to December personally. So I would be very, very surprised if this was the case of Kathleen Kennedy or Kasdan not getting his or her own way. What about the Han Solo movie though? Is it in trouble? Well, Rogue One had a supposedly difficult production, and so did Episode 7, with writers leaving early on. But in my opinion, those both turned out to be good movies. I think the difficulties with with Rogue One are probably more familiar to most people because the Episode 7 stuff happened before filming Rogue One, of course. They had to go back and shoot extra scenes. People were worried that Lucasfilm or Disney was making them change things, when really it comes out that that was not the case at all. And that the filmmakers in Rogue One didn't think that Disney would let them make the movie that they eventually did make. Well, now that the Han Solo movie is kind of in some production trouble, does that mean it is in trouble? Well, just today, and actually just 50 minutes ago from my time of recording this, it's been announced that Ron Howard will now be directing the Han Solo movie. And Howard is pretty well respected as a director and just as someone in Hollywood generally. I mean, the movies that I've seen that he's directed are pretty good. Parenthood, Apollo 13, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, The Da Vinci Code, Cinderella Man, Angels and Demons, Inferno, and probably most notably A Beautiful Mind. And that I say most notably because he actually won the Academy Award for Best Director for that movie. And this will actually be the first time that an Academy Award winning director is directing a Star Wars movie, although he's only got, I think, 3.5 weeks of filming to actually direct. I mean, my dream would have been for Spielberg and George Lucas to come together and just restart the whole movie, but that's neither practical or likely, and I think Ron Howard will also be a good choice. And I think people are really underestimating this movie just because they think it's a story that really doesn't need to be told. I mean, oh, who cares what Han Solo was doing? But I think there are adventures to be told there. I mean, everyone liked the old Han Solo books back in the day, and I just think that Lawrence Kasdan knows Star Wars probably better than anyone else. And I mean, he knows what a good Star Wars movie needs, so I trust him in writing this movie, especially since, from my understanding, it will be his last. Now, things are going to be difficult with Howard directing half and Lord and Miller directing the other half of this movie, and I don't know how that will all come together, whether it will be jarring. I'm sure that there's so many people involved in a movie that it will be workable, but I am worried about this movie, and I'm happy that this is happening to the Han Solo movie, something that a lot of people already didn't have high hopes for, rather than Episode 8. I think if this were happening to Episode 8 right now, I would be in a very bad mood, I'd be very grumpy, and I would be worried about the future of the main Star Wars movies. But again, this is an anthology film. The worst thing that can happen is it's bad, and hopefully Episode 8 will still be good, but I mean, Episode 8 will come out beforehand, obviously. But yeah, I do see the movie getting pushed back probably to December 2018. Right now it's scheduled for May. As I think all of the Star Wars movies that have come out, besides for Rogue One, have initially been scheduled to come out in May, but have been pushed back. I'm not certain. I know Episode 8 for sure was scheduled to come out in May 2017, but then got pushed back to December. And I think that that's probably what Star Wars is going to go for, just dominate the Christmas season, and I quite like that, and I will be happy with that. But let me know. I know that I rambled in this video a bit more than usual, but I guess my main takeaways are that there is some shit going on with the Han Solo movie. It's probably not good. I'm interested in what's going on, but I think it's too early to say that Lord and Miller were let go simply because they had, I know that Lucasfilm say they have creative differences, but I don't think this comes down to Lord and Miller not bending to the will of Lucasfilm. I think that this kind of comes down to they weren't making a Star Wars movie like they needed to. They were making, 21 Jump Street with Han Solo in it or something like that. And now Ron Howard, the first, someone correct me if I'm wrong again, but I believe the first Academy Award winning director comes in. Hopefully he can save the day. But I really think Rian Johnson's words need to be remembered, and that he has had a lot of creative freedom on Episode 8. So before people start getting, I know that the Kathleen Kennedy is a Nazi comments, Nazi feminist, sorry, will get going in just a few minutes here, but just try to keep an open mind. I know some people have been down on the Han Solo movie from the minute it was announced and say, why not an Obi-Wan movie instead of a Han Solo movie? Probably a valid complaint, but I know I'll go see it. I hope you guys will too. We still have a year, probably it'll end up being a year and a half until it comes out. So let's see where the rest of the production takes us, what news comes out, and hopefully we get some interesting insider information about what actually happened on the movie set. Anyways guys, again, sorry for being extra rambly today. Hopefully another video will come out today. It depends how much editing time I have. If not, of course, there'll be one for tomorrow. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, may the Force be with you.